This is the smell of a warm 3-day-old egg salad sandwich in a wimpy trash bag.
Wimpy, wimpy, wimpy! Blech!
And this is the smell of that same sandwich in a hefty, ultra-strong trash bag with new Fabuloso lemon scent.
Hefty, hefty, hefty!
Smell the difference? When life gives you stinky, get Hefty Ultra Strong with new Fabuloso lemon scent. It smells like clean, freshly picked lemons. So no matter what's inside your trash, you can stop the stink and smell the lemon.
Judy was boring.
Hello.
Then Judy discovered ChumbaCasino.com.
It's my little escape.
Now Judy's the life of the party.
Oh, baby, mama's bringing home the bacon.
Whoa, take it easy, Judy. The Chumba life is for everybody. So go to ChumbaCasino.com and play over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Hello, good morning, angels, and welcome back to Morning Ray. I'm your host, Lan or Alana, and today's episode, as you can tell by the title, is all about navigating dating as a 20-something-year-old. I've been having a lot of conversations, girlfriends, with my guy friends about dating and dating apps and their experiences, just different opinions on the way to go about it, experiences, and things like that. I don't have a super planned out episode. I kind of just want to talk about it very organically, and maybe some of these feelings and experiences are something that you can relate to, and I'd love to hear either on the Spotify app. You can leave a reaction to the question that I asked, so I'd love to see your responses there, or you can feel free to DM me on either at Alana Bloomberg or at Morning Ray Podcast on Instagram. I feel like a lot of you girls are single girls or you're out dating and about. So I would love to hear your feedback on this episode. I've been trying to just lean into more topics of things that are going on in my life. That way I can speak super organically and authentically about it, and I feel a little more connected to you guys that way. I feel like if I'm going through something or something's on my mind, I'm probably not the only one. So I would love to discuss this with you, and I think it would be a really fun way to take and continue the podcast. I've honestly been in a little bit of a rut with episode topics. I'm feeling the urge to start interviewing and bringing on guests again, just to kind of navigate that and give me someone to bounce the conversation off of. As much as I love doing solo episodes, it can be really draining talking to yourself for 25-30 minutes. I truly do not know how certain podcast hosts talk for an hour to themselves. I think that's insanely impressive, but I just haven't ever really been capable of doing that unless I'm doing a Q&A, because I have questions and things to bounce off of. But I definitely want to bring more guests onto the pod. If you have any requests for guests, please let me know. I know I did mention I was going to bring on a guest for running. That guest did fall through, so I'm trying to get another one. But if there's anyone you would love to hear on the pod, if there's any topics you would love to hear me talk about, please don't be shy. Please DM me. I would really love your feedback and requests. I really appreciate that. Okay, life updates. Last weekend, I celebrated my birthday in Toronto with all my girlfriends and my family, and it was honestly such a heartwarming weekend. I feel like my birthday for the past few years has really been a time of just really acknowledging and bringing attention to how amazing and fortunate I am to have such amazing friends and family in my life. It wasn't always this way in terms of friendships. I really struggled with friendships growing up, really until mid-university. I would have a few friends here and there, but I always felt like I struggled in my friendships, that they were always just really one-sided, and I never really found my people. So it feels really good to have a good group of girls and guys in my life who I can go to, who I can rely on and support, vice versa. I'd hope. I just had an amazing time this weekend. I felt really loved and special and truly just had an amazing time. Definitely better than my birthday last year. I died a little bit on my birthday last year. We had no incidents this year. year. We had a full night of fun, no getting sick or anything like that. So definitely really fun running. I have not signed up for my half marathon yet, although I'm on week 4 of training. It's currently a deload week, which feels really nice. I definitely feel my pace picking up, but my heart rate is still going higher. When you're running, I don't know how many of you girls or guys are running. People, ideally 80% of your run should be in your zone 2 heart rate. So it's like 70 to 80%, I think, or maybe 50 to 60%. Hold on one second. Okay, zone 2 training is typically the lowest zone used for training purposes. Think of it as going for a jog while you can still hold a conversation, somewhere between 60 to 70% of your maximum heart rate. The purpose behind zone 2 training is to be able to sustain a pace just below your aerobic threshold for 30 or more minutes. So you find your like maximum heart rate by doing 220 minus your age. So mine is 196 beats per minute because I'm 24. Okay, but then another source says 70 to 80%. How do I know my zone 2 heart rate? I don't know. They all have somewhere between 60 to 80%, 70 to 80%. But anyways, you do that by running slower. So as much as I love and have been able to run faster, it's definitely kicking my heart rate up there. So I'm trying to run slower, especially on my long runs. I have a long run this weekend when it happens Saturday, Sunday, depends on when I go out because I would prefer not to run hungover. So I've been trying to plan my runs around my social events, and that is what we call balance. I think balance is super important, but I haven't actually signed up for the half marathon yet. I think I'm going to do that this week, seeming as we are 8 weeks away. Sorry. I don't know if I can do this, guys. My long run this week is 8 kilometers because it's a deload week. Last week it was 12 kilometers and I actually thought I was going to die. I did it midday during heat because I literally had no other option just based on birthday plans and then the weather. It was kind of a bit of a shit show. But next week we have a lovely 14 kilometers for those who know miles or don't know what, I guess not knows mile because it's okay. A half marathon is 13 miles or 21.1 kilometers. So 12 is essentially just above half of the distance that I have to do. And honestly, it's kind of dying a little bit. So I'm really a little nervous for 14 kilometers. But my dad reminded me, try to look at it as time on my feet as opposed to the distance because the distance can be really overwhelming. But honestly, Dad, the time is just as overwhelming at this point because I'm running for over an hour. The thing with running and doing long distance running is I'm not only learning how to pace myself, breathe, form, do the actual thing, but I also need to learn how to fuel myself properly before, during, and after my runs, which is like a whole other training process in itself. To be honest, it's been really rewarding doing running and training for the sport because at the end of the day, running is a sport. Because I haven't done something like this since high school when I was dancing competitively and was training as a competitive dancer. Yes, I've worked out and I've lifted weights and I've done Pilates and all these things, but training like an athlete is a whole other ball game. It kind of feels nice. Well, not kind of. It really does feel nice to have a purpose and a goal and something outside of my work life to be working towards, also being a part of that community in a way. So I strongly encourage you, if you don't have any sort of hobby or goals outside of your work life, go out, go search for them. It doesn't have to be running because I feel like everyone and their mother is running on TikTok right now. It can truly be anything, but I can say and guarantee you that adding hobbies into your life and setting goals outside of your work or your career is the ultimate game changer. It really levels you up. It helps you feel like your highest self. It gives you more purpose and value and adds to your identity. I don't know. It's really the vibe. Okay, current favorites. I know this intro is getting really long, but I do really want to have longer podcast episodes for you guys. So I guess this is working in my favor. I hope you don't hate me for having a long intro. Current favorites, I've been loving going to bed early, although I kind of slacked with it this week because I had Steph staying with me and I was being a little social butterfly. But I really been loving going to bed early. I guess it's not super early. I've been going to bed by 10:30, which for me is early because normally I'm a 12 to 1:30, 2 a.m. girly. So going to bed early and getting that 8 hours of sleep has honestly really helped with my mental headspace. It's really helped with my energy levels, and it's also helped my running. I feel like sleep has really benefited me. I know this is like common knowledge, but it takes a lot to actually put it into practice, at least for me. Going to bed earlier and getting that 8 hours of high quality sleep, specifically falling asleep to brown noise, although I haven't done that this week because Steph was here and I didn't want to disrupt her sleep with the brown noise in case she didn't like it. Although I feel like she would have liked it. Going to bed early, honestly, game changer. We are in our wholesome era. I've also really been just loving doing wholesome things with friends and spending more time with my family and seeing my nephew and my sister. I'm really trying to make more of an effort to go home more. I honestly wasn't for a bit. We had a really traumatic year last year. Not going to touch into that too much, but going home was honestly really triggering for me, and it was a place that I didn't really want to be anymore. It didn't feel like home. It still kind of doesn't really feel like home. I'm a strong believer that home is a feeling, but like my childhood bedroom doesn't really feel like mine anymore, which kind of sucks. It is really heartbreaking in a way, but I'm trying to do a little bit of exposure therapy and get myself comfortable with the uncomfortable and just like work through these feelings and this trauma and everything. But I've really been enjoying spending time with my family and maintaining those relationships. I've been feeling really, really connected to my friends lately. I also feel like I'm in a better headspace in terms of being a good friend. I'm becoming a better listener. I think I am. I don't know. I guess I could ask my friends what they think, but I feel like I really am trying to be more aware of what I'm providing in conversations with my friends, like how am I serving them in the way that they're serving me, and just really making sure that the relationship is a two-way street, that it's even, and that I'm providing them the support that I would want if the roles were reversed. And with that said, I really have been loving FaceTiming my friends over texting them. Not all my friends live super close to me, and we can't always hang out all the time because we are all living super busy lives and are working and adulting and all of that. So FaceTime is a really nice way to maintain and build those relationships and really just have a more genuine connection with your friends or your family or whoever over texting. You guys know I recently was in Montreal for a music festival, and I totally forgot how French-speaking Montreal is compared to the rest of Canada. And it made me realize that with all my travels and now that I'm traveling more, I really want to start learning other languages because truthfully, I can only speak English. And I would love to speak locally, like a local. So the next time I'm in Montreal, I can speak French. Maybe if I go somewhere where they're Spanish speaking, I can speak a little Spanish, like when I'm in Mexico or something. And that is why I've been learning how to speak French with Babbel. Babbel is an incredible app. It allows you to learn a language a lot faster and for a lot more affordable than a private tutor, which can cost hundreds of dollars. It's designed by real people for real conversations, and all of their tips and tools are super approachable, accessible, and rooted in real life situations. So you're truthfully going to be speaking like a local. Like no one's going to know that you're a newbie in terms of your language and speaking and all of that. Like you can learn how to ask for food, ask for directions, speak to merchants without having to consult a language app while you're traveling. I have a special offer for our listeners to help you get started right now. You can get 55% off your Babbel subscription, and it's only for our listeners, and you can get this at babbel.com/Ray. You can get 55% off at babbel.com/Ray, spelled BABBEL.com/Ray. Rules and restrictions may apply. I honestly prefer FaceTiming over a phone call because I love the face-to-face connection. So if I can't get that in real life, FaceTime is honestly really nice. Okay, enough talk about my life, about my current faves. Let's get into the episode. Let's talk about dating, navigating dating as a 20-something-year-old. Maybe if you're not 20, maybe you're a little younger, maybe you're a little older. Generally speaking, majority of you are in your early 20s, your mid 20s, somewhere around my age. And I feel like this is something that is a conversation a lot of us are having with our girlfriends, with our guy friends, with one another. I definitely think there is a shift in the conversation surrounding dating apps. I think we are tired of them. A lot of us are just craving that in-person connection, that organic, authentic meeting of a person like our parents had, either meeting someone out at a bar or at a workout class or on the streets or at a restaurant or something, or being set up by a friend, as opposed to swiping on an app, matching with someone, and going on a date. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like sometimes dates from dating apps like Hinge, or I really haven't been on a date from any other dating app. So dates from dating apps like Hinge feel very performative. Like, you know, you both find each other attractive because that's essentially what the app is, right? It's a catalog of all these people, and you're basing your attraction to them solely off of the pictures on their profile. Yes, they have prompts and that may show some personality, but to be honest, a lot of the times we're just like being very materialistic and surface level and just judging a book by its cover. And for me, I'm someone who is definitely a personality girl. I'm definitely someone that can be more attracted to a person based on how they hold themselves, how they conduct themselves in a public setting, how they treat other people, the way they're carrying themselves. Like, all those things really add up into this equation. They make up the equation as to whether I am or not attracted to them. So when I'm on something like Hinge, like Raya, like Bumble, it really limits my ability to tell if I'm interested or not, and kind of just takes away all the things, or majority of the things, that I would put into this equation to determine if I'm attracted to someone or not, and leaving it just to what their physical appearance looks like in that photo. And to be honest, no offense to the guys, a lot of you don't know how to take photos. A lot of you are not super photogenic or know how to make yourself more photogenic. And I just don't think Hinge is, or like any dating app, is a great playing field. I just rather judge your character and you, and determine if I'm interested in you or not from meeting you in person. I don't know. That is just something that I've really been feeling. I also feel like when I meet someone in person and start a conversation, and maybe that conversation leads to us exchanging numbers or Instagrams or whatever, I really rather a number over an Instagram. That's another conversation. We'll talk about that in a little bit if I remember, because I don't have it written down. But then maybe that exchange of numbers leads to a little texting back and forth and going on a date. I just feel like the date is so much more casual. It feels so much more natural, and there's so much less pressure than when you go on a date from a dating app. Because when you're on a dating app, you know sort of what their intentions are. Like, they want to go on a date with you, they find you attractive, they may want to potentially see if there's a connection for a serious relationship, or maybe it's just a hookup, a situationship or something. But you really like know their intention. Like, it just feels very transactional.
I feel like my list of things to buy, to do, activities that involve spending money is never ending around the holidays, making the idea of investing and saving and thinking about your future to be a little bit more challenging, a little bit more overwhelming. Acorns makes it easy to start automatically saving and investing for you, your kids, and your retirement, even during the holidays. You don't need to be an expert. Acorns will recommend a diversified portfolio that matches you. You don't need a ton of time. You can create your Acorns account and start automatically investing your money in just 5 minutes. You don't need to be rich. Acorns lets you get started with the spare money you've got right now. That could be $5 a day, or even just your spare change. That's right, Acorns can round every purchase you make up to the dollar and automatically invest your spare change for you. And you can get bonus investments just for buying the stuff you need from the brands you love. I personally love Acorns. It's simplified the investment process, which can be overwhelming and intimidating, but it just makes it so simple, so easy, and something more accessible no matter how much money you have to invest. Head to acorns.com/Alana or download the Acorns app to start saving and investing for your future today. Paid non-client endorsement. Compensation provides incentive to positively promote Acorns. Investing involves risk. Acorns Advisors LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. View important disclosures at acorns.com/Alana. I'm super excited about today's sponsor. They've sponsored the podcast before, and this is a topic I'm super passionate about. I fear that us as girls struggle with PMS far more than we should, and we really shouldn't. I truly get the worst PMS symptoms. My boobs are sensitive, my face breaks out, my sugar controllings are out of whack. I feel like I'm just a bottomless pit. My mood is not the vibe, and estro control has been super helpful in helping manage those PMS symptoms and making that time of the month a lot more enjoyable. Estro Control is a formula developed by Happy Mammoth, a supplement company dedicated to making women's lives easier. Say no more. Estro Control contains science-backed herbal extracts that help support hormonal health, especially if you are someone like myself who struggles with PMS. It was created to help women feel like themselves all month long and to not struggle with the feelings PMS can cause. For a limited time, you can get 15% off your entire first order at happymammoth.com. Just use the code Alana at checkout. That's happymammoth.com and use the code Alana for 15% off today.
From a dating app, whereas meeting someone in person and deciding to meet up again feels very natural. Like, do you guys agree with me on this? I don't know. I've been finding lately that the dates that I've gone on, from meeting them in real life or like them having been friends or people I've like met a few times at like gyms or coffee shops or on the street or whatever, like a guy coming up to me and like starting to talk to me, it just feels so much more chill and I feel so much more myself going into it, and it takes the pressure off. I don't know if it's just like my viewpoint on Hinge and dating apps versus like meeting someone in real life, but I definitely feel like the vibes are very different. And I've gone on a lot of Hinge dates in the past. I went like 2 summers ago, or I was constantly going on dates from like, I want to say like 80 to 90% of them were from Hinge. And they are very performative. Like, it feels very interviewee. Like, a lot of the times I'm in a position where I'm kind of being interrogated because the guys are very interested in what I do, and like no blame or hate to them. Like, I'm flattered that they're interested, but I don't know. Like, I'd rather talk about more things other than just my career all the time. And I know it's not like a normal mundane thing, but I like talking about deeper things. And I know that's not really normal to happen on a first date, but I rather talk about the deeper subjects. Like, I rather talk about our upbringings and our relationship with religion and our interests and like our dating history. Like, I don't know how to say dating history. Like, I don't really care like what your ex was or whatever, but like, you know, just like more meaningful things than surface level stuff. Like, I rather have unique conversations with each of these people than rather it feel like a copy paste, which I feel like happens a lot from Hinge. I don't know if I'm alone in this experience. I feel like I'm not, just based on conversations with friends. So I wonder if this is the same outside of Toronto, if it's a Toronto thing, but it definitely feels like dates from dating apps are very performative. There's a lot of pressure. They feel very transactional, whereas dates that happen more organically, they come from meeting in person or being set up by friends, feel more humane and natural and flowing. I also want to talk a little bit about casual dates. And what I mean by casual dates is, instead of just going for a planned drinks or dinner, which I do love. I love trying out a new cool spot. I love being spoiled by the guy. The formality of like getting dressed up and going somewhere and it being very romantic and I can't say the word. Like, I don't know, just like old school, like typical date, you know? But I also kind of love the idea of something more casual, like going on a walk or doing an activity, like playing a sport, playing tennis or pickleball, or going on a run, like even going to Othership, like a sauna and ice bath or something like that. Because it kind of just, it makes it feel more chill. You can be more yourself. It feels almost like you're hanging out with a friend, and you're able to picture how they can fit into your life more. I think a good combination of the two, like going for more formal like drinks and dinner dates in combination with the more casual chill dates like picnics, walks, hikes, activities, and things like that are really important. I think it also just like, it makes it more playful. It makes it more youthful. It allows the barriers to come down a bit more when you have more of these casual dates. I know not everyone is agreeable on that, but I think that's something that I've come to realize that I actually want more of in my life, just because lately I've also hung out with guy friends and we've done super casual things and just like hung out on the couch and talk. And I felt like I could be so much more myself and I could get to know them so much more, as opposed to being sitting at a table, sitting across from each other at a fancy restaurant or a cool bar where the music is kind of loud and there's like this subconscious pressure for it to be very performative and like this whole big thing and super serious. And I don't know. Does that make sense? Like, I hate when people say that, but like, I just had to say it. I don't know. I think bring back casual dating. I think like Netflix and chill kind of had something. I'm not necessarily saying like just hang out on the couch all the time and like just talk. That's honestly when I've had some of the deepest conversations with my friends, girlfriends, guy friends, whomever. And that's when I've got to know them better and built deeper connections and relationships with them and started to like them more. So I don't know. I think there is an importance of casual dates, especially in early dating, because it may help you figure out if this person is right for you or not. I was talking with my friend Shayna about this, and she brought it up to me. She was saying how grateful she is to have guy friends and have good relationships with guys that are completely platonic in her life, that had allowed her, and even like relationships with like her father and her uncle and like whoever, male figures in her life, to set standards in dating as to how being super busy can make it really easy to fall into a dinner time recipe rut, or even with your lunches. Any meal, honestly, can get you into a rut, especially with a busy schedule this fall. You can keep mealtime exciting with over 40 recipes to choose from every single week, so there's always something delicious to discover with HelloFresh. It's truly a no-brainer. It does all the shopping and meal planning for you. Ingredients arrive at your doorstep, pre-proportioned and ready to cook, along with pictured step-by-step recipe cards. It's never been easier. I personally love HelloFresh as a way to get exposure to new recipes, make my life a bit easier as a busy 20-year-old in the city. And I love that it's worry-free, it's super easy, it's convenient, and gets delivered straight to my door. Go to hellofresh.com/50ray and use code 50ray for 50% off plus free shipping. That's hellofresh.com/50RAE and use code 50ray 50RAE for 50% off plus free shipping. HelloFresh is America's #1 meal kit, and thank you for sponsoring today's episode of Morning Ray.
Lucky Land Casino, asking people, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
Lucky? In line at the deli, I guess?
Aha, in my dentist's office. More than once, actually.
Do I have to say?
Yes, you do.
In the car before my kids' PTA meeting.
Really?
Yes.
Excuse me, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
I never win and tell.
Well, there you have it. You can get lucky anywhere, playing at LuckyLandSlots.com. Play for free right now. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Okay, round two. Name something that's not boring.
A laundry? Ooh, a book club. Computer solitaire, huh?
Ah, oh, sorry. We were looking for Chumba Casino. That's right. ChumbaCasino.com has over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Men should be treating her, respecting her, communicating with her, and acting around her. Honestly, this is something I really agree with. A lot of the times I feel like girls in particular struggle with setting expectations, standards when it comes to dating. I've definitely been there. But by having guy friends that can show you that a guy, if you're heterosexual, by having guy friends set the standards and showing to you that men are capable of treating you the way that you want to be treated and like a princess and very respected, and you feel safe around them and protected, and you can be authentically yourself and you can be silly like the way that you would be around your girlfriends, I think that will help you set that into your, copy that into your dating life. Another conversation that a lot of my friends and I have been talking about is dating casually versus dating to marry. And I think that's also because I guess I'm in my mid-20s now, but it's kind of getting to the point where, at least for me, if I'm dating someone seriously, it's only because I see the potential for them to be my future husband, or it'd be someone that I could see myself marrying. I don't care, and I honestly don't think I ever have because I haven't had a boyfriend. I don't care to date just to date. If I want to just see someone casually and I don't see them as being something really more, they're just a fling, they're a hookup, they're a situationship, I don't really care to do the boyfriend, girlfriend things with them if I don't see them as being something long-term, being a husband, being the father of my children sort of thing. I know a lot of my girlfriends, not a lot of my girlfriends, but I know a lot of girls kind of just date for the sake of dating, and there's nothing wrong with that. I just personally don't really care to get into a committed long-term relationship if I don't see them as being that person for me. And that could be seen as being closed-minded or extremely picky, but I really don't see a point. I don't see a point in myself closing myself off to other people, other potential suitors, for the sake of just having a boyfriend that I know is only going to be temporary for me. And I also just don't think that's fair to the other person. Maybe you both think that and you're both in a mutual agreement, but I don't know. I just don't see the point in dating for the sake of dating. If I'm going to date someone seriously and have them be my boyfriend and be in a long-term committed relationship and introduce them to my family, I want that to be the person that I think I'm going to marry, that I'm 99% certain, unless something happens that's unpredictable, I don't really want to date them. And call me naive, and I understand sometimes all the time you date someone to get to know them, but unless I have a gut feeling that they could be that person, I don't want anything more. It doesn't need to be anything more. And I'm perfectly content with having casual romantic or sexual relationships with people until I find that person. I don't know. I just don't see a point. I think it's maybe a waste of time. I don't know the correct word. I don't see the point in dating for the sake of dating. I rather date. I'll date to marry, and by dating to marry, I mean long-term relationship, boyfriend, girlfriend sort of thing. But I don't really care to date casually and just date for the sake of dating. Another conversation as a young Jewish female is religious differences. And this is something I go back and forth on all the time with my therapist and with my friends, specifically Shayna. And ideally, I would love to marry Jewish. Ideally, I would love every guy that I date, that I hook up with, to be Jewish. But at the same time, I'm do I really care? And I think it's hard because I think we're at a time in society and in our culture where the prevalence and I don't know the correct word for this. I feel a lot of people are moving away from religion. People are very spiritual. They're atheists. They may be more, I would classify myself as someone who is very traditional when it comes to Judaism. I practice the high holidays. I like the traditional aspects. I love the cultural aspects of Judaism because it's not only a religion, but it's also a culture. But I'm not super religious. I'm not super firm on all the beliefs. I don't think everything is super correct. I love spirituality. I have fun with astrology and talking with a psychic and things like that. Religion isn't my end all be all, but at the same time, there's kind of a comfort in being in a romantic committed relationship with another Jew because of the similar cultural upbringing and the similar values and morals and beliefs, and then the way that we would bring up our children. But I go back and forth as to whether or not this depends on if they're Jewish or not. And it's hard to decipher whether it's the opinions of your parents that are impacting this, or if it's just like your own opinion. I really don't know if I'm making any sense right now. If you feel any sort of way that's similar to mine, again, I would love to hear. This definitely is an open conversation that I would love to have with you guys. But I think that's like something that I go back and forth. Like, is it important? Is it a non-negotiable for me to date and or marry someone who is Jewish? I think I'm someone who is definitely in a place where I'm definitely open to dating and seeing people who aren't. And I have many times. And I've definitely seen those people more than one time and been open to the idea of being in a longer term relationship with them and could see that. At the same time, I feel like them not being Jewish has kind of stopped me at some points in that I haven't been able to see the complete longevity because they aren't Jewish. So that's definitely something I need to work on myself. And I definitely feel like I'm not alone in this, whether you're Jewish or Catholic or Muslim or whatever your religious beliefs may be. I think we all go through this. I think personally, in my experiences as a Jew, I just feel like the dating pool is so small. And as you get older, it gets smaller. And sometimes the type of partner I'm looking for isn't in this dating pool, at least in my city. And it can be kind of frustrating. And I think that's why I resort to letting go of that expectation and that desire and want to marry Jewish, because I get annoyed and frustrated with what's available to me. I don't know how else to put it. We're like 33 minutes in here. I don't know how long it will be once it's edited, but on my timer right now, it says 34 minutes, which I would say is super impressive for myself, as at the beginning of this episode, I was like, I've been really struggling talking for longer and I want to talk for longer, but here we are. We are doing it. Back to the Instagram thing. Do you guys prefer if, say, someone comes up to you at the bar, you're flirting, you're kind of hitting it off, would you prefer if they asked for your number or your Instagram? I feel like if it's someone that I'm actually interested in, I rather number, because I just don't want to give, like, I don't know. I don't really have, like, my notifications aren't on Instagram. I rather have their number. It feels more personal. It feels more mature. So also a lot of the times if they say like, could I have your Instagram? I'm like, you can have my number. If they ask me for my Snapchat, they are canceled. They are dead for me. That is, I have Snapchat, but to them, I don't. But I think I much rather have someone have my number, even if I potentially never speak to them again, than my Instagram. I don't know. Because I don't know, like, I'm going to have my main form of communication, like via technology, be a phone number, like texting, calling, FaceTiming. So I don't want it to be Instagram. And I think that kind of just sets the standard. But that's just me. I feel like a lot of people are like that. I mean, I'm not against giving out my Instagram, but I just rather exchange numbers. I think, like, why not? I think that's more legitimate. But anyways, I think that's all I have to talk today. If you like this episode, if you have anything you would like to discuss further with me, I'd love to hear. If you love this episode, make sure to leave a rating and a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, as that is how you can help support the pod. I love reading your reviews. I also love when you guys post that you're listening to Morning Ray on your Instagram stories, or put it in your little reels and TikToks as like a recommended podcast. It really just makes my day. I'm not being sarcastic. I'm not being like dry about it. Like, honestly, it really makes my day. It's really heartwarming to me. It makes me feel like more connected to you guys. So I love that. If you do that, keep doing it. I love it so much. I hope you enjoyed the episode, and I will see you next week. Bye, guys.
At Kroger, an annual Boost membership just got even better. Now you can choose from Disney Plus with ads, Hulu with ads, or ESPN Plus on us when you sign up. Plus, enjoy unlimited free delivery, double fuel points, exclusive offers, and free items. Sign up for a Boost membership today. It's an easier way to save, including new streaming options to relax with while we deliver your groceries. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Restrictions apply. See site for details.